Can you tell us more about the Russian Empire from the period 1450 to 1750?
Absolutely. The period from 1450 to 1750 was crucial for the Russian Empire. It was a time when Russia was just starting to emerge and became a significant power in Europe and Asia.
Wow, what was happening during that time?
Well, at the beginning of this period, Russia was mostly made up of small principalities. In 1480, Ivan III, also known as Ivan the Great, ended Mongol rule over Moscow, which was a huge turning point. This helped unify Russia and set the stage for future empire.
Interesting. What are some other ways the outside world was influencing Russia?
Great question. During this time, Europe was going through major changes too. The Renaissance was flourishing in Western Europe, bringing new ideas about art and science. Russia was somewhat isolated, but began to interact more with Europe. For example, Peter the Great later traveled to Western Europe to learn about shipbuilding and military techniques.
Cool. So what expansion did Russia go through during this time period?
Yes, definitely. Throughout these years, Russia expanded its territory significantly by the late 17th century. It began pushing eastward into Siberia. The expansion was partly driven by desire for fur trade and access to resources.
That sounds like a lot was going on. Are there any major challenges they faced?
Absolutely. One of the biggest challenges was managing diverse population within the empire as it expanded. There were various ethnic groups, as I said earlier, with different languages and customs. Additionally, there were internal conflicts and resistance from local leaders that needed to be dealt with.
Thanks, Professor. This really helped us understand the Russian Empire better.
You're welcome.
And thank you guys for watching.
Welcome to A Twisted Time, a podcast where we explore what should have been. Today, we're diving into a pivotal moment in Russian history known as the Time of Troubles, which lasted between 1598 and 1613. What if I told you history could have taken a different path? Let's explore what would have happened if the young leader named Dmitri survived. Picture this, it's the late 16th century, and Tsar Ivan IV, also known as Ivan the Terrible, has died. Russia is facing chaos, a power struggle, and famine. But in our story, Dmitri, Ivan's son, who was thought to be dead, escapes and actually survives and grows up in hiding. At the age of 20, Dmitri emerges from the shadows. He has gathered loyal supporters who believe that he can restore power to Russia. Instead of a fragmented country fighting over the throne, Dmitri rallies people around the country and promises them peace and stability. He walks into Moscow and rightfully takes his place as the Tsar. The year is now 1610. With Dmitri on the throne, he takes immediate action. He calls a meeting with nobles from all over Russia. Instead of fighting for power, they work together to solve the problems like famine and foreign threats in the country. Dmitri introduces reforms to improve agriculture and trade. He invites skilled workers and merchants from all over Europe to come to Russia, creating new jobs and boosting the economy. By fostering alliances instead of rivalries, he strengthens Russia's position against foreign invaders. Now let's fast forward a few years. Under Dmitri's leadership, Russia becomes more united and powerful. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth thinks twice before invading because they know Dmitri has built a strong army with support by the people. By 1613, which would have been the end of the Time of Troubles, we see a flourishing Russia. Dmitri's reign encourages cultural growth. Literature and art thrive as more people can afford to participate in society's advancement. The time is remembered not as the Time of Troubles, but as the Age of Dmitri, a golden age of Russia.